Welcome to the SwimSwam podcast. I'm your host, Coleman Hodges. Joining me today, we've got a very special guest. He's coming in from North Carolina. He is the number 2 recruit in the nation for the class of 2022. He just had a big meet a couple weeks ago and had some epic battles, which I'm stoked to talk to him about. Today, we've got Baylor Nelson. Baylor, how's
Hey,
it
what's
going,
up,
man?
Coleman? Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you. We talked about it before, but I got to hit on it again. You've got some great hair, and I for one appreciate great hair. Tell me about your flow and what it's been like during quarantine.
It's been super long during quarantine. We had a meet. Our last meet before COVID started was early February, and I got it cut right before the meet. And I think that was late. No, sorry, the meet was early March, and I got it cut like late February, and then didn't get it cut until August, probably mid-August after I dropped my sister off at college. So it was super long. My sister wanted to straighten it one day before she left, so she straightened it. It was super long, but it was good to get it cut. I needed it cut really bad. But I normally keep it around this length. I can't really chop it off because it's always been a part of me. So yeah,
I hear you, man. Hair's important. Hair's
right.
fun.
It
It's
is.
so hold on. You have a sister. Does she swim also?
Yeah, she swims at Texas A&M. She's a freshman this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we'll get into later, but I digressed. I'm geeking out about hair. The real topic of discussion here is the meet you went to a couple weeks ago where you had some pretty epic duels. One in particular, our headline was Titanic 400 IM battle
Right.
with Sam Hoover, the Big Cheese. Tell
Right.
tell me about that meet and racing Sam in particular.
Yeah, so it was a great meet. I've been looking forward to a shave and taper meet since probably mid-May, right when everything was about to start back up. And I can remember right starting back training, and I was probably most focused or more focused than I've ever been, just because I really missed it when we were in the break. So I was training probably the hardest I ever have. And then going into the meet, like I was super excited, knew I could get some best times on just race really hard, excited to race. So we went in the first day. I was super pumped. We all were. And then we had a couple guys swim the 200 free, and we all saw them have like really big time drops. Especially Logan Zucker and Reed Miller. They both swam really well. And we kind of fed off of their energy. So they did a really good job of like setting the pace of the meet. And then I had a pretty good first day, and then going into finals 4 a.m. I knew I'd have a tough race, but I love racing Sam. I've raced him since like 10 and unders, so we know we're always great competition for each other, and we push each other all the time. But 4 a.m. front half was pretty good, and then I think I took it out a little too hard and kind of died the back half. So I saw Sam catching me on the free, and I was like, oh boy, here we go again. Because usually I'm getting caught on the free. So tried to find that second gear, but couldn't really find it. But I was pretty happy with the time considering where we are mid season. And then Saturday was also a good day. And then Sunday, I also had two races with Sam again as well. And 2IM in particular was a really good race between us. Like I said before, we push each other really well, and I always enjoy racing him. And I can end of the race, I really didn't expect to go that time, just because it was the last session. But before, I think we were in the middle of our finals warm up, and our coach pulled us out, he said that we kind of had a dazed look on our face, looked a little tired, gave us a little speech about how this could be possibly be our last bigger meet, just due to COVID numbers rising. Said we need to take full advantage of it. So that kind of hit me hard, and that's what I was thinking about before both of those races. So I think that's what got me through the final session, and helped me perform to what I did there. So yeah.
Yeah, take me through that final session for you, just those two events and the times you ended up going.
Yeah, so going into finals, I was really focused, and I was like really excited to swim two back, in particularly because prelim session I wasn't too happy with that time. I know I could have been a lot faster, and my goal time going into the meet was like 44 low or faster. So I knew I could have been a lot faster. Warmed up, got a great warm up in for two back, and then everything just clicked during the final swim. I took it out at a pretty good pace, and then I was really happy with my second 100. I didn't really die, and I felt really good coming home. And that's right where I wanted to be, so I was happy with that. And then
Yeah. So sorry, would you
uh,
end up going in that?
144.3. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And then so we had prelims, two back and two IM are back to back. So I was a little nervous about that going to finals, but there was actually a mile in between both events and a 10-minute break. That helped a lot. I was able to get in a good warm down after two back and then rest for like a couple minutes and then get back in and warm up for 2 IM. And again, I was really, really focused going into 2 IM as well. I basically fed off of my own energy after the two back. I really wasn't expecting that too much, just based off of because it was the last session, and I wanted to take full advantage of racing Sam again. So we got after it pretty hard, and I was really happy with the way I swam it. I always take it out fast, but normally my back half's a little weaker. But I was actually able. My breast split was like more or like a second faster than it normally is, which I was really happy with. And I've been working breaststroke a lot since we came back, so I was happy to see that pay off, and I was very happy with the end time. So yeah, it was a great race between Sam and I.
What was the end time for that 2 IM?
144.0 or 145.0. Sorry. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
yeah, it's pretty stout.
yeah. I'm definitely happy with the time. Like I said, it's mid season, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. And so let's take it back a little further. I mean, kind of since March, what has what has your training in and out of the pool looked like?
Yeah, so I would say right when COVID hit, there was about I probably didn't do much for about a week. Kind of just stayed at home. Just didn't really work out at all much. But
Mhm.
then right after that, I knew I needed to do some stuff and I wanted to do some stuff. So one of our old weightlifting coaches, he set me up with an app and gave me some workouts every day. Some was cardio and some was just weightlifting. So I would do those every day. Those would be probably 45 minutes to an hour each. And I also just found creative ways to lift or just get stronger. So whether it be like pull ups on a tree or something, I got a wheelbarrow and put like a bunch of rocks and weights in it and used that as a deadlift. So that worked out.
Nice.
It was definitely fun to like get creative with that. And then meanwhile, after that, Tim, my sister and I, or Tim Connie, my sister and I, we went to Sarah Holman's endless pool, and one of our old coaches, Coach Ben, he trained us there for 3 days a week. The sessions were about an hour long, I believe. So 3 times a week, and then I'd probably go home and work out a little bit more. And we also had ab Zoom call with our group twice a week, 2 or 3 times a week, I believe, as well as a dry land practice as well on Saturdays, I believe.
Hmm.
So there was a lot. I mean, I really wanted to stay in shape as much as I could, so I took full advantage of all the opportunities I had. So being able to get in the endless pool was really helpful just to maintain a feeling for the water. I mean, it's nothing like flat water, but it definitely helped and made the transition back into practice a lot easier. So yeah.
Yeah. And so, and yeah, it sounds like you did a lot. I love the deadlifting with the wheelbarrow. That's
Yeah.
genius, to be
Yeah.
quite honest. But yeah, so you got creative. You were able to stay in shape. You know, able to swim a little, lift a little, do dry land, abs. And so then when you get back into the when do you get back into the water? And you know, take me through those first couple weeks of how it felt, maybe what didn't feel good, or just what felt different than before.
Yeah, so I think we got back into practices late May, I believe. We took, I think we started out with just a couple practices a week. They weren't very long, just to get back in the water, get a feel for it. I remember the first day I got in, and it felt like any other break you would take. Like the first practice back, it just feels really off and like you're not used to it.
Mhm.
But I could tell that the few people that did swim had I would say a little bit of an advantage over the others that didn't have an opportunity to swim over the break. So I was definitely happy with that, and it definitely made the transition easier. Flat water felt a lot different, but I think I worked on so much technique in the endless pool that it helped me transition that into or back into practices, and that's one of the main things I was focused on going back in. And I could tell a difference in my strokes like right from the beginning, and I knew that I needed to keep working on that. And then we progressively added practices. I don't know when our first morning practice was, but I know we probably had a month or so without a morning practice, I believe. And then we got back into those. Still wasn't nowhere like near how much we practiced in the past years. And then I think everyone started getting back to feeling better, back in shape. We all started racing more. And then I think around July, we all started to throw down some really good practices. And we all got after it. We were all hitting some really good times in practice. It was a lot of fun. And then I say around August is when we kind of got back to a normal schedule. But now we are back to a normal schedule and actually practicing more than we have been in the past years, which is really good. So I think the benefit of not all of us going to school and staying remote, there's definitely a big benefit there. We're able to practice longer in the mornings and get to practice a little bit earlier in the afternoons and practice longer then. So yeah, we're super happy that we are training more than we have been in the past, considering what a year it's been. So
No kidding. That's
yeah,
surprising to hear, but also that's pretty cool that you're
yeah.
able to get in the pool even more than before in the past. So let's break down a couple things that you mentioned earlier. First being you were working on technique a lot in the endless pool. Give me some specifics. What specifically, and you know, it's like you have seemingly on paper you have four really good strokes. So what were you working on technically for those strokes?
Um, I would say most of it was body line and just catch. We worked on, like I said, a lot of body line and rotation. Free and back rotation was a really big thing. So as you know, like then the schools have the mirrors, and we had a backstroke mirror as well. So we were really able to, or I was able to focus on rotation and see what I needed to fix. So I think that was one of the biggest things, as well as just getting into a line quicker and breaststroke. and then catch on free back and fly as well. Um, so yeah, I think those were probably the biggest things we worked on.
Yeah. When you're working, let's take freestyle. When you're working on catch in your freestyle, what are you thinking about specifically about, it's like where you're placing your hand or how you're rotating? I mean, what is, when you're actually swimming it, what's going on in your head?
Just trying to maintain a high level catch. And we have a saying like it's called the power triangle. So when you're in the catch position, it just creates a triangle, and that's what you want to hit. So that's probably the main thing I was focusing on. And then just being able to get my hips over quicker on each rotation. I think before we started in the endless pool, my hips were kind of dragging along and I think delaying my stroke a bit. So really just focusing on getting the hip rotation ahead of my stroke. So yeah.
This is next level stuff. I mean, I feel like some of these technical aspects swimmers go their whole careers without thinking about. But yeah, I mean that seems helpful. And so then you get back into the water, consistently, like you said, around July, things started really revving up, really clicking. Give me some workouts. Were there specific practices that you remember where you guys were really throwing down, or one that you had particularly that went really well?
Yeah, we definitely so we do a lot of yardage. Coach Kathy, she really wants us all to just be really versatile, as well as have, I guess, be able to maintain our stroke for long periods of time. So she really helps us a lot with giving us those distance sets. So we had a bunch of mid D and distance sets, as well as IM sets. There's none of those like in particular I can remember, but we hit a backstroke set one day. We split in like back and breast groups, and I love training backstrokes, so I always go as hard as I can in those back sets, just because it's a lot of fun to me. It's a good opportunity for me to work on underwaters, which is really big for me. We did the set was 10 100s, or sorry, 10 rounds of 100 fast. I think on 110, and then a 50 easy on a minute, and then 50 fast on like 45, and then 50 easy on a minute. And I think I was averaging first few rounds, I was probably 56s, and then the last like seven, I was around 53, 52, holding those, and 50s, I was 25, 26s. And then after that, we loosened up a little bit and then went right into a tuner back fast. So yeah, it was a really good set.
What you call the tuner back fast?
I was 152. So I was happy with it. I think that was the fastest practice time I've had in the two back. So yeah, it was a really great set. I had my buddy Cam Abakita in the lane next to me. We were really pushing each other the whole time. And he's great at underwaters as well. So we were kind of pushing each other on the underwaters, which really helped a lot. And yeah, it was a great practice all around.
So for, a set like that, 10-1's fast, 10-50's fast, what are you trying to maintain underwater wise?
So I think that set I was around 7 or 8 off each wall, or just whenever I felt like I needed to come up, I kind of just pushed it to where I felt like I was either slowing down or needed to come up. So I think underwaters is one of the main things I focused on coming back after quarantine. I mean, that's always been a really big part of my swimming, but I've always known that it could get a lot better. So from the start, like day one, that's probably the main thing I focused on. And this whole season, I've focused on that probably the most as well. So I always am trying to get the best or the fastest and most like progressive distance off the wall. And whether it's backstroke or any stroke. So that's one of my main focuses.
Nice. You also you train with Tim Connery, is that right?
Yeah, Tim Connery.
Okay. Yeah, so I talked to him a while ago and
Right.
he surprised, he's also an extremely versatile swimmer. He surprised me by telling me that he rotates what his best stroke is
Yeah.
because he's just, which you said your coach kind of emphasizes that to have
Right.
four good strokes. Do you have a favorite stroke or a stroke that you feel like is your best one?
I like training backstroke a lot. That's probably my favorite stroke. Um, and I would agree that that's probably my best stroke as well.
Hmm.
But I mean, I really enjoy swimming fly as well. Not so much in practice, but I do like swimming in meets. And then my breaststroke has gotten a lot better over the past years. And still trying to improve on that. It's not where it needs to be just yet, but I know it can get a lot better. And then we do, like I said, we do a lot of mid distance or distance free sets. So I've gotten used to that and to the point where we've done it so much that I enjoy it sometimes. So I would say I would say backstroke is definitely my favorite, but I like swimming IM a lot, whether in practice or at meets.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like you've got to, again, I think versatility isn't necessarily physical. It's a mindset, right? It's like
Right.
you have to embrace all four strokes. And I think so many swimmers get caught up in the, well, I'm a breaststroker or I'm a sprinter. And like,
Right.
that's all I'm good at. And
Yeah.
it's refreshing to hear a perspective of, well, I think this is my best stroke, but I'm really working on these and
Mhm.
I'm just kind of trying to do the whole gambit, which is
Yeah,
cool.
and I give a lot of credit to all the coaches I've had. I mean, Mac does a great job with keeping every athlete as versatile as they can be. So like day one when you start at Mac, they're making you swim every stroke, every event at meets. They don't want to limit you to anything. So it's always helped me keep an open mind. And I don't want to close the door on any strokes or any events just yet because I know that like in a few years, my whole like event lineup could change. So I think keeping an open mind has always helped me. And coaches, all my coaches have done a really great job of that as well. So that's one of the big things that I think Mac does really well.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. It's it's produced a lot of versatile swimmers so far. And speaking of your lineup potentially changing in a few years, you're a junior. I'm guessing you've been looking at colleges. I certainly know colleges have been looking at you through this period of not visits kind of being limited. I'm guessing. What does the recruiting process look like for you this fall?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, I've enjoyed catching up and talking with all the coaches that I've talked to. We built some really good relationships, and I enjoyed talking to them a lot. So June, when the recruiting process started, I mean, first few days were a little overwhelming, just from the amount of emails and texts and calls I had. But it was definitely it was definitely really humbling and made me realize that like all my hard work had paid off. So it felt really good to have all these like top level colleges and different programs want me. So yeah, it made me feel really good, and I've enjoyed getting to know these coaches, and I've been able to go on a few unofficial visits on campus, just talk to some of the guys, and had a bunch of Zoom calls with guys on teams. So that's been really fun, and I've enjoyed getting to know them as well.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, do you have you felt limited about the amount you can do because of COVID in regards to recruiting and getting to know these programs, or do you feel like you've maybe even gotten to know them better because that communication is more vital now?
Yeah, I think definitely limited to the point of like official visits. I mean, that's something that I really wanted to take and do, but not sure if I'll get the opportunity to do that now. But I definitely do think I've gotten to know coaches and athletes better just due to COVID. I mean, because the amount of Zoom calls that have been started because of COVID has really helped me connect with them better. And I think without COVID, there would be none of these Zoom calls. So I think that's a really good way to get to know them and get more information about different schools. So on that side, I think I've learned more about them than I would in a normal year and gotten to connect more, which is a really good thing.
That seems like a good thing. Agreed. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a totally different situation, and like you said, there's positives and negatives
right.
on both sides. I'm not asking who. I'm asking when. Do you think you have an idea of when you're going to make that decision of a verbal commitment?
Yeah, I've definitely started to see things a little more clearly now.
Hmm.
Um, I would say about a month ago, I was still kind of a little bit all over the place, didn't really know what exactly I wanted. But now I'm definitely seeing things more clearly after taking about all of my unofficial visits. So I don't have a date yet or like when I'm planning on committing. I think it's just when the time feels right for me and my family, just when I feel comfortable committing and knowing I made the right choice for me and somewhere I want to be for all those 4 years in college and somewhere where I fit in well. So I think it's just based on like when the time feels right for me.
You brought up a good point there. A month ago you were a little scattered, but now you have a better idea of what you're looking for, which I'm guessing, as a 16-year-old, like you said, June 1st, you get all these emails, can be overwhelming. And you know that you're supposed to do this, but you don't exactly know what you yourself want. So, what are some of those things that you've discovered throughout this process that it's like, okay, this is what I think I want out of a college program or just a college period?
I think the biggest thing for me is team atmosphere. That's always been a huge part of my swimming career. I mean, I've had a bunch of a bunch of groups over the past years, a bunch of guys that I've really bonded well with. And they've made swimming like really enjoyable. I mean, we got great guys in our group like Logan Zucker, Tim Connery, Cam Abakita. I mean, they're pushing me day in and day out, and always provide like a good atmosphere in practice. So I think that's a really big part for me, just being able to go to a college where I know I fit in, know I'm welcomed, and I mean can just like act myself and go into an environment that just wants to win, compete, and have lots of fun. Um, and even like a team that I can go in, guys that act goofy, just stuff like that, just like a brotherhood bond. That's probably the main thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, nice. I mean, that seems like an important part of college swimming, certainly. And yeah, I guess age group swimming, high school swimming too. It's like you do it for the friends, you do it for the memories.
Right.
Um, yeah, nice. Okay, so enough about that. Let's talk about your swim sibling. So I guess this is still on the topic of college. Your sister's a freshman now at Texas A&M. Have you? I'm guessing you've gotten to talk to her throughout this semester, and what have you gained on that front from just what to expect out of that first semester of college?
I mean, she's enjoying it a lot. I think, I mean, she's just built really great friendships already throughout her time there. One of the big things for her was finding a great group of friends, and she likes it. I mean, she likes the college experience a lot more than club swimming, just because it's more of a team sport, whereas club is more or a little bit more individual. So I think that's something I'm really looking forward to. That's a big thing she's explained to me. And I think just about every week we'll have a FaceTime or I'll FaceTime her. We'll probably have anywhere from like a 30 minute to an hour long conversation. I mean, she'll fill me in on stuff that's going on there and I'll fill her in on stuff that's going on here. We'll just talk about things and obviously she's recruiting me a little bit. She wants me to be with her. But yeah, she's always filling me in, and it's great to have those discussions with her.
Nice. And have so you guys are 2 years apart? Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing you guys grew up swimming together.
Yeah. So I would say I started swimming around 4. Um, I was originally born in Nashville, Tennessee, and I think we started swimming lessons for a little bit while we were there. And just, I mean, at the time, I couldn't do any strokes. So it was kind of just me getting a feel for the water. My mom my mom wanted to set us up with that just so we could be comfortable around water. And I think we just fell in love with it right then and there. So then we moved to Charlotte and we got involved in summer league. And we did that every summer. And we both turned out to be pretty good. And we had one of the coaches reach out to us and say that we should try out for SwimMac. So my parents and my sister and I, we had no clue what that was. So my parents looked into it a little bit more, and we eventually tried out and been here ever since. So yeah.
Yeah. What I mean, growing up with a swim sibling, I know that has ups and downs. You guys spend so much time together, so much more time than
Right.
maybe normal siblings would. How did you feel about that time you got to grow up with your sister and bond over hours of slaving away, staring at a dark line?
I mean, it's definitely really cool. I think people that don't have siblings, I think the people that do have siblings have a benefit. And it's definitely a really cool experience just because you get to learn from them as well. I mean, me being 2 years younger than her, at the time when I was in groups lower than her, I would always, I guess, look up to her and the people in her group and try to learn from things they did. And I mean, she always spent time trying to work on me with things and help me get to where I am. So I think it was definitely a really cool experience. And then getting to move up with her finally in senior one, that was really cool. I mean, that was the first time I've gotten to, I guess, train with her. So I mean, most of the time we would always be in lanes right next to each other, both leading a lane. So it was really cool to sometimes get to race her during practice and just have her next to me all the time. So yeah.
Nice. Having a swim sibling is a pretty special thing, and I think it's a super cool thing to have in anything, but definitely in swimming.
Yeah.
Um, so heading into these next couple weeks, couple months, do you guys do a pretty hardcore Christmas training at SwimMac?
Normally we do, yes. It is pretty difficult. I think we start the schedule Monday. So I think most of the schools around here get out this Friday. Then we'll start training on Monday. So it is a very, very difficult time in training, but it is it is fun. Sometimes just I mean you're with your friends so much during the holiday training that you're at the pool like twice a day almost, and just getting to see them, even though we're all really tired, we kind of lift each other up, just get through it together. So even though it's really hard, it can be a fun experience just because I mean we're all going through it together, so that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, that seems that seems a little better. Again, one more specific is there a Christmas training workout that you've done in your past that stands out to you?
Yeah, I think last year, I don't know if I think it was right around Christmas training or might have been in Christmas training. We broke out into groups. I think it was like sprint and distance group. I was in distance group along with a couple other people, and we ended up doing 15 300s. And I believe Sin 1 to 3 and best average 4 to 15. And I think
Okay.
they were like 330. So I mean, that was super hard just because we had 12 of them that were best average. So it was definitely super painful and hard to get through. But like I said, we have great teammates at our club, so they definitely made it a lot easier. And we were all pushing each other there. So
Nice. What kind of times were you holding on those last 12?
oh, that was probably my worst practice of the year. So not holding anything good. I remember I probably started out first during the set, and I think ended up we were like two to a lane, but I ended up going last for like the remainder of the set after like number 5. I was pretty beat that day. I think it was a Saturday, so end of the week. Not a great set, but that's definitely one I remember just because of how bad it
I would remember that too.
was.
Man, 12 best average. That's insane. Uh, so heading into these next couple months, obviously you do have Christmas training and then hopefully some meets on the horizon, but an amount of uncertainty. What are you looking forward to just in these next couple months? Being back in the water, hopefully getting back to some competition.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to training long course. I think that's one of our biggest focuses now that we finished that meet 2 weeks ago. Because I know the people with like trials cuts in our group or working towards a trials cut. I think our main focus is long course now. So basically last year, almost the whole year, we were focused on long course as well. So I think we're kind of going back to that now. I think we haven't gotten to train much long course, but I think they're going to build that in now. And then I think we have a lot more long course opportunity meets coming up. I think a few of us are going to the Pro Series in Richmond. So that'll be our first long course meet. So yeah, I'm just really excited to train long course, get back to that, and hopefully go to trials if that doesn't get canceled. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to training long course.
Do you already have trials cuts?
I have 1 and 2 IM and looking to get a couple more as well. So yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that long course training sounds exciting for everyone. I'm guessing that's been limited for everyone as well. So yeah, hopefully you get some long course time in. Baylor, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to sit down and talk with me. Any parting thoughts before we sign off?
I don't think so. I just want to thank you for your time as well. It's great talking with you.
You've been listening to the SwimSwam podcast. Stay tuned for new episodes every week. You can take SwimSwam podcast on the go by subscribing on your favorite podcast platform. Look for links in the description below, and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos as well.